What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Awesome Show. Today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro card back figures. So we have these figures here of sort of like Avengers characters or just some sort of characters. And while preparing for this video, I did realize they all have to do with like the Disney Plus series. So of course we have Wanda and Vision from WandaVision. Then we have Falcon like from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Loki from the Loki series. So pretty interesting that they put all these out at once on the retro card backs. But they're pretty cool here. So we have the characters, how they appeared in the classic comics. So like with Scarlet Witch here and Vision, both from the West Coast Avengers as they're labeled on there, so that's pretty cool. But again, they're just on those classic like Toy Biz card backs, so that is awesome. And then we've got Falcon, which looks pretty cool. We've had Falcons like this pretty similar, but again going with that more retro style. And then Loki as well, so this like from the Loki series would be like the old man Loki that we saw. So again, pretty cool there on those card backs as well. And then of course we can flip around and each of them has a picture there and a little bit of the story, of course, that we already know mostly for each of these characters, so I won't go into too much detail. But all of these look pretty cool and I'm excited to check them out. So let me get them out of the boxes and we'll take a look at them together. Well, let's start off with Scarlet Witch, of course, real name Wanda Maximoff, and she was enhanced with powers by the High Evolutionary and eventually fell in love and married the Vision while they were both on the Avengers. She drew on magical energy to give birth to twin sons, Tommy and Billy, but the energy was from Mephisto and he reabsorbed them, so took away a major part of her life. So I threw that sort of stuff in just because it sort of ties in with like WandaVision show, like I said, since all these figures are the like retro figures on the card backs, but each of them lines up with our different Disney Plus series we've had, like I said, with WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, so they all kind of fit as like actual comic versions of our Disney Plus series, so I just wanted to throw in that connection there. But overall, I think she looks really good. Of course, this is like the classic version of Scarlet Witch, you know how I always imagined her, and we got one very similar to her. We'll go ahead and bring in the like Family Matters pack where we had Magneto and Quicksilver as well, so this is the version she came with. They're the exact same figure, just awfully differently repainted. This one was all in like metallic colors, so everything was all metallic about her, but this is how she appears in the comics with like the red bikini outfit and then the pink spandex and everything, and then her hair is more of a lighter brown color with a little bit of red tint into it. But overall, she has like the red Scarlet Witch stuff, so she has the red crown on her head, which we now see Wanda have in the MCU. But I like her face, her eyes look nice and there with the nice shadow around them, the red lipstick. I like the hair poking through the helmet, and then I just like the hair design overall. Like I always say, Marvel Legends usually does really good with hair. But then she has the red cape hanging down to the back, and the cape always reminds me like very similar to like Magneto, obviously, since in some stories she's Magneto's daughter, but the like gap in the backpack there reminds me a lot of Magneto. But then, as I said, she has the red bikini, she has red gloves on there that go up her arms, and then has the red boots, and the rest of her has the all pink spandex on underneath it. So overall, she looks really nice. It's just the same sort of figure, which I have issues with the other one of getting it to stand. This one's not as bad since it's new and straight out of the package and everything, but thankfully her cape like goes down in the back like towards her feet, so that helps keeps her standing up. But of course, with Wanda, we know she's an immensely powerful being with the powers of witchcraft and chaos magic, and she has a vast knowledge of spells and incantations to do just about anything she wants. So for the figure itself, let's go and do the movement so that it can twist there a little side to side. Of course, with the hair, we're going to have a lot of limitations. She can look down and up, yeah, so very little movements at all in the head just in general. Shoulders can come up 90 degrees there and then rotate around within there. We get the single elbow joint that bends to about 90, a little bit under there, but has the rotation, and then the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. We have the ab crunch right under her chest, so crunch forward and crunch back, mostly back on this one, but can twist around in there as well. And then we get the hips that can come up 90 degrees there, out to the side that far, thigh twist all the way around, a double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, and then the foot flexes back and forth and twists side to side. So overall, her joints aren't bad. She has the, just limitations of the female joints that they don't really give all the movements to, that they've gotten better with more recently, but obviously this is going off their old figure design, just repainted. So she just has some limitations, and then again, getting her to stand is a little bit difficult, probably mostly because of that cape. But as mentioned and known, she uses a bunch of magic, so we get some magic stuff for her. So we have these like hand effects that we can put on that look, like magic swirling around her hands. So let's put these on. So there we have the swirl effects, so that's pretty cool. But this one also comes with the other magic effects that we've gotten with other figures, but this time she has these pink like sort of magic effect pieces that we can also put on her hands as well. So let's go and pop these on. So there we got the effects on. So not only does she have the magic on her arms, but she also has like the spells coming out of her hands as well. So that overall looks pretty cool there for Scarlet Witch, and I just really like this figure. And next up we have Vision, or White Vision in this case, which we saw once again in like the WandaVision series. But Vision was created by Ultron using the android Human Torch body and altering the Horton cells on it to give him powers and sent him to attack the Avengers, but he betrayed his programming and ended up joining them. Of course, while on the Avengers, he fell in love with Scarlet Witch until rogue agents of the US government abducted him and began to dismantle him. And when the Avengers found him, they had Hank Pym rebuild him, but this time he didn't get the brain patterns of Wonder Man, and with the damage of his synthetic skin since they tore him apart and everything, he was resurrected as a colorless version, so he was just an emotionless synthezoid. So once again, pretty much how we saw him in the WandaVision series, where he was torn apart, but when they reconstructed him, he was just the all-white version. But we know Vision has a computer brain, hologram generation, optical scanners, superhuman strength, reflexes and durability, power of flight, and intangibility. So overall, he looks pretty cool here in the all-white. Like I said, looks pretty much just like your standard Vision, and of this Vision, of course, we've had before that I'll show in a second, but he's just all white this time, so he has a lot of the same details, just he doesn't, have any sort of the color to him, so he's just got like this grayscale version of white and some sorts of gray. Now, I said we've already had this figure before. It is pretty much the exact same figure, just sort of retooled, but has overall the pretty similar design. But again, this is the older version where he's more translucent in this one, but still has the white. But like I said, this one definitely looks much better. He's all solid white this time, and overall just a much better body. But for movements, we've got the head that can twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so really good movements there in the neck. And I like on his head how he does have like still like the jewel piece there. But then we get the shoulders that can go up to about 90 degrees there and rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, a double elbow joint that bends up that far, and wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. We have the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward and crunch back a little bit. Of course, the cape's going to be a way of crunching back, and then twist all the way around at the waist. The hips can come up 90, out to the side that far, thigh twist all the way around, a double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. It looks like we do have a shin twist on the figure, so a shin twist right in there just in the middle of the leg, and then the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. And another weird thing about this figure is that it has the toes on it, so he's got those toes there, so pretty weird looking, but overall not a bad figure. It doesn't have the best joints ever, but it doesn't have too many limitations though, so that's pretty nice. But like I said, he looks pretty nice here just in the all white, and then like I said, has that grayscale, so like on his chest, his underwear piece there and everything, and then the cape on the back as well looks pretty nice. And again, it's the exact same sort of figure design, everything as that other one. But for accessories, unfortunately, all he really comes with is a set of fist hands, so if you don't want to have like the open sort of hands there for possibly using powers or whatever, but we do have the fists as well if you want to use those. But that is all there is for this version of the White Vision. Like I said, I do like it. I like it definitely more than the older one, but I rather just have like a normal Vision instead of the white one. But very nice looking figure still overall. And next up we have Falcon, which is very reminiscent of the classic Falcon, not obviously the most original version, but still does look pretty classic. I love the look of this version of Falcon. But Falcon's real name is Sam Wilson, and he became Captain America's partner after being saved from Red Skull, where Red Skull used the cosmic cube on him to give him the abilities to communicate with birds, and then eventually Black Panther made him a harness that would allow him to fly with wings. So pretty standard stuff there for Falcon, but overall, like I said, I really like the design, just with the red and white outfit. I think it looks much better than the other figure I'll show you here in a second, but it is the exact same figure, just repainted. But I like it all with like the white face covering and the little beak design there on top, which is pretty cool. Nice hair design up there on top, and overall face just looks really good. And then we have the body once again, like I said, in all the white and red outfit that just looks pretty cool. Nice like gauntlet designs there with the red stripes, look cool. Red all the way down to the boots. That's the one thing I don't like about this figure, is like the boot designs. Like, it makes sense for Falcon and stuff being in like military type stuff, but just they look kind of weird just on this body with the big clunky boots there. But it does help him stand, so I guess that's a benefit. But for movements, we can get the head that can twist all the way around. You look down that far and up that far, so pretty good movements there. Shoulders can come up. I think it's a little bit stiff, but we can get it pushed down. It can come up there to 90 degrees. It does have the butterfly joint in there as well, and of course can rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, and you have to be careful, at least for our figure. This handpiece is coming apart, so you can see it just splitting there. It looks just like it's, just two pieces just like glued together. So I wouldn't be surprised if here soon that just falls off and we'd have to glue it back together or get a new figure. But the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward and crunch back there, so pretty good crunching. Twist all the way around at the waist. Hips can come up 90, out to the side. Oh, he can do the splits. Not very often on Marvel Legends you get that. Thigh twist all the way around. A double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. We have a shin twist there in the middle of the leg once again, and then the foot flexes back and forth. Pretty stiff here, but flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So like I said, not a bad figure, no real issues with movements or anything, just a little bit of stiffness, but it's disappointing that hand piece is falling off. We're having a lot of issues like that more recently, it seems like, with figures. But for accessories, we get some additional hands. So we have a set of fist hands there with the white gloves if you don't want to have the open hands for flying. And then of course, with it being Falcon, we got to have his Falcon wings as well. So we have the red translucent Falcon wings once again. So let's go and pop these on. So there we have Falcon with the wings, and I like the wing designs overall. They're just really nice. So like here on the back, like on the top where you'd see them mostly, they have the texture, you know, sort of like wing designs. And I like the way they design where they sort of like curve along a line with his arms and everything. And then the two separate pieces. So if you want to bend his arms or anything, you can do that. So it has that much separation before they start splitting apart and everything. So you can't get his wings like that. So that looks pretty cool overall. But of course we have to have him flying. So need to have his hand just straight out there so he can be flying along now. So that looks pretty cool, especially got to get his head straightened out there and everything, and he can fly now. But just a really nice figure. I like this design overall and everything for Falcon. And speaking of, here is that older Falcon. Again, it's the exact same figure, just repainted, but this one doesn't look bad either. I just overall like the design of the newer one much more than this one, but like I said, everything else is going to be exactly the same because it's the same figure, just repainted. But I do really like this new one a lot. And finally, we have Loki in that classic Loki look, and again, kind of tying in with the Loki Disney Plus series. This is how the old version of Loki was dressed, so he was supposed to look, you know, pretty much exactly like this, so I like that a lot. But of course, we know Loki as Loki Laufey's son, the Frost Giant, adopted and raised by Odin on Asgard, and as they grew up, he became resentful of Thor and set out to destroy him and take over Asgard. And he has superhuman strength and durability, a healing factor, long life, sorcery with mystical abilities of telekinesis, illusions, energy blast, teleportation, shape-shifting, and enchantments. And of course we see all that throughout the MCU series as well. But this version of Loki I love, just like I said, because it's that classic look of Loki and how I always picture him. So I love getting him in this version. So I like it a lot. He's just in the all green spandex with the yellow design as well. So like in the center we have that sort of like chainmail looking design, or the scale design, very similar like Captain America. But he's got the yellow belt, yellow gloves, yellow boots, and then has the yellow color piece around his neck that's always loose and kind of just flops around. But I like the nice jagged cutouts. And then that goes into the head covering where you just see his face. And then he has the crown on as well with two horns, and then his long blonde hairs, I guess, sticking out the back there. So pretty interesting figure overall. Like, it's a funny looking figure, but I just love it for some reason, just with like the classic and silliness of it and everything. So very nice looking figure just overall for me. And I think this is a much improvement. We'll go ahead and bring it in. So here is that original figure. So it was more metallic and everything, which I don't know why they always do metallic on stuff, but this is that older figure. So I definitely think it's a much better improvement, like especially with the face design. And then just the overall body, I'm having issues getting this older one to stand, where this one just stands pretty easily, so no issues there. But for movements, that can twist all the way around pretty easily, can look down that far and up that far, so really good movements overall. I have shoulders that are real stiff, and they're ones that I definitely have to push down on to get up to come up to 90 degrees there, and you can probably kind of see it's sort of peeling off the paint, so that stinks. But it can rotate around as well. We get the bicep twist, the double elbow joint that bends up that far. We get the wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. Ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward and crunch back there. Not a whole lot of crunching, but it's not too bad. Twist all the way around at the waist. Hips can come up 90, out to the side that far. Thigh twist all the way around. A double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. And then we get the shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So not bad movements or anything, just the stiffness in the shoulder as I showed there. So overall, pretty nice figure. And then he comes with a bunch of accessories. So first off, we get an additional head. So this one has more of like that smiling gritted teeth or whatever that matches more with this original figure. So pretty much that same head, just redesigned with the new look. So I like that a lot, to have more mischief. And then his horns are much bigger, so you can see the difference in the size of the horns and everything that are on his head. So I like the different heads with the different size horns, which is cool. And finally, he comes with two blades as well, which are pretty weird looking. Like compared for this, they look too realistic. So it looked like these would go perfectly with like the Loki from the Loki Disney Plus series we got, or from a more modern like MCU version of Loki or something. These daggers just look too realistic and everything, but we got him with him, so let's go and put him in his hands. So there I got the daggers in his hands, and just even with the look, they just feel like they don't fit in with this version. So I don't know if they're supposed to be meant for some other characters like that we didn't get them with in the past that needed them, and so they included them with this figure, or what, because they just look way too awkward, and I feel they don't go well with this version of Loki. But overall, I do really like this version of Loki. Like I said, it's definitely the best one so far, and I like the different head options, because, you know, different faces as well with different size horns, so that makes the head, you know, worth it at least to get another one this time, not with like just the smile or face being the only thing different about it. I like the difference of the face and the horns as well. So to me, that just makes this figure really cool. Well, there is our wave of the retro Marvel Legends figures where we got Scarlet Witch and White Vision, as well as Falcon and Loki. So all these figures look pretty cool. Like I said, it's kind of like a comic version of the Disney Plus wave, which is pretty cool. But I just really like all these figures, and like I said, I think they're the best version of each of these figures so far. So definitely not a disappointment in getting each of these. But let me know what you thought of them down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. And I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.